First of all, you need to know about this science and technology as a subject. Now, this will be very, very important for you. The reason is that if you open newspaper any given day, for sure we'll be having at least 2 articles from science and technology. Now, the problem is that if you are not having command on the science and technology, it will be a nightmare to understand that. So, how to deal this complete subject of science and technology, we'll be seeing in the coming 45 minutes or 1 hour. Okay. Now, first. So, the problem with respect to science and technology is that there is no defined syllabus for it. We know that we'll be using generally standard books for politics, say Lakshmikant, or for economy, some will be following Nitin Singhania, some will be following Ramesh Singh and all. But there is no good book in the market with respect to science and technology. But the good news is that the students here will be getting the one-stop solution handouts that will be more than sufficient, because I had personally made them for each and every syllabus. Now, what we will be doing, I had divided this entire science and technology into 12 modules. Space technology will be one module, defense technology, information and communication technology, emerging technologies, different types of energies, nuclear energy, renewable and non-renewable energy, nanotechnology, intellectual property rights. In this format, you will see them. In this format, I had divided the entire science and technology into 12 modules. Now, you will be getting handouts for these 12 modules static part and current affairs of all these 12 modules. You need not refer to any other material. That is my word, because that will be made after looking at all the issues in Indian Express, Mint, Hindu of the last 2 years, and along with that cross-checking with any other good compilations if we had missed any. So this will be an one-stop solution material. So you need not worry about those things. But before going into the subjects, we need to know the importance of science and technology. What is the importance of this science and technology? The importance of this science and technology is that every year on an average, you will be getting 12 to 14 questions. 12 to 14 questions. If you see the weightage in the last 5 years, it is hovering between 12 to 13 and 14, right? So, this shows the importance of science and technology. Now, say for example, 12 into 2, 24 marks. Thing is that you might get up to 70 and 80 with the core subjects, but you cannot touch the cutoff without science and technology. Understood? So, we need to have sufficient grip on this. Now, so as I mentioned, in prelims, science and technology has a weightage of 12 questions, 24 marks. Now, that is bare minimum. Now, there is undisclosed weightage of science and technology in the other subjects. Say, when you are strong with science and technology, you will be having better understanding of concepts in economy, better understanding of concepts in geography. All that is possible. Okay. Now, this is about science and technology weightage in prelims. Now, see, earlier the weightage of science and technology used to be less. But since we know entire world is going about around these technologies, AI, machine learning, all these things. Now, so that's why UPSC's weightage is also increasing. Right. Now, this is about prelims. Even in the mains also, science and technology as a subject is very, very important. We have a paper called as GS3. We have a paper called as GS3. In this GS3, we'll be having different subjects like economy, agriculture, internal security, disaster management, environment, and along with them, we'll be having this science and technology. Now, what is the weightage of this science and technology in GS3 paper? Now, every year, we'll be getting at least a minimum of 2 questions and a maximum of 4 questions. That means that its weightage will be hovering between 25 to 50 marks. Its weightage will be between 25 to 50 marks. Now, if you see, if you had analyzed any topper mark sheet, you will be understanding that generally the scores in GS1 will be around 110. Topper score or 100 to 110. GS2 will be around 100 to 120. But GS3 score will be just between 75 to 95. The reason is that we consider generally this, we will be neglecting science and technology, internal security and all. We consider generally means GS3 means economy paper. But if you see in the entire 250 marks, economy will be having only 75 marks. 40 marks or 45 marks is agriculture. Rest all will be by environment, science and technology, internal security. So how much weightage we are giving for that economy and agriculture over there? Similar weightage we need to give for these subjects also. Understood? So the idea line here is that since you will be starting your preparation from now, thing is, in your mind, don't consider that science and technology should be the last opted subject. Obviously, we should be in a better position with other subjects, but this will be becoming an added advantage for you. For example, say you want to write forest service mains. You might be knowing that prelims is common for both civil service examination and forest service examination, but the cutoff for forest service will be plus 15 for any category. Say for general category, CSE is 95. Forest service cutoff will be 110. Even in that case also, you should be having high command on science and technology. Understood? Now, if we look at the PYQs, you will understand one things. First, as I mentioned, 12 to 14 questions will be the weightage of science and technology. Next, further, there are many misnomers in the UPSC market related to science and technology. The first and most important misnomer you need to take away from your mind is that it says science and technology is just current affairs. Science and technology is not only current affairs. Current affairs is one of the important part of science and technology. But we cannot say that science and technology is entirely current affairs. For example, in the newspaper yesterday, you might have seen about Kalpakam fast breeder nuclear reactor had achieved criticality. Now, to understand that, you need to know about fissile materials, fertile materials, fissionable materials. What is meant by criticality? What is India's 3-stage nuclear energy program? All these things we'll be learning in our static part. So, without having knowledge of the static part, we cannot understand the current affairs. So, if in your mind, if you are feeling that science and technology is only current affairs, please remove that. Please remove that. That is not at all true. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, there are many misnomers with respect to science and technology. The very first misnomer is that science and technology is not only science and technology is only current affairs. So the answer for it is that science and technology is not only current affairs. Reading compilations, say generally many will be going for some compilations. Now that is not at all sufficient. Not at all sufficient. The reason for it I am telling is that, say in the current affair compilation, what will be there? Take the case of yesterday's example only. Kalpakam fast breeder reactor. What is fast breeder reactor? And Kalpakam, where it is located. That won't be sufficient for the exam, right? Right. So the thing is that we need to have better static knowledge. Static knowledge will help in solving questions. For example, in 2023 prelims, we have a question. We have a question in the examination which says that Agni 5 missile is a cruise missile. Second option which says that BrahMos missile is a ballistic missile. Now, two Agni 5 and BrahMos are in the current affairs. We know that. First of all, we need to know what is meant by cruise missile, what is meant by ballistic missile. If you will be knowing that, you can answer that question very much easily. Now say you might have by-hearted that one. How many you will be by-hearting? Understood what I am telling? So with by-hearting, you cannot do all these things. So you need to have proper conceptual clarity with respect to science and technology. Now one more benefit is that, say for example, you might be studying polity, economy and all. Now polity, say history and all, you will be reading. You will be forgetting. when you will be reading the second subject, you will forget the first subject. Obviously, that will happen. Now, science and technology is such subject. Say, if once you got the clarity, 90% of the things you won't be forgetting. The reason is that entire thing associated with it is conceptual. If that went to your brain easily, there is no point of forgetting it. There is no point of forgetting it. So what I am telling is that from the day one itself, since you will be starting your preparation from now and to clear the exam in 2027, just you need to put all your efforts from now. And for that, science and technology will also be becoming an added advantage. Right. Now, in the ending of this class, I will explain how to proceed further also for the next 1 year. Before that, we can close our discussion with science and technology. Then we can think of other things. Now, as I had shown you the example, say this BrahMos missile, cruise missile. Similarly, as I am mentioning, most current affairs questions are require static depth. For example, in 2025 prelims, they had asked one question. It says that Majorana chip is made by Amazon Web Services. That is wrong. It is made by Microsoft. That is in news just before exam happened on May 25th. That is in news in February. Every major institute had covered that. That is not an issue. The second statement and third statement over there are static things. Say third statement needs to have knowledge about deep learning. We will be learning that in our static part. So the idea line here, what I am stressing is that science and technology is not only about current affairs. Along with the current affairs, you need to have static depth. This will make your life very much easier. Once you had read, you will remember for sure. Okay. Next, one more thing is that PYQs will be repeated every time. In say, if I am telling 12 to 14 questions are coming, for sure 1 or 2 will be PYQs. Exact statement. For example, they had asked one question in 2024 prelims. That is about viruses. They had taken the exact question from 2012 paper and not even serial number has been changed. Exact copy paste of that. Now this is not only the case with science and tech. This will be the case with other subjects also. For example, we had a question on constitutionalism 3 times in last 6 years in polity. We had question about liberty 3 times in last 6 years. Same question, right? So the thing is that PYQs are very, very important, not only for science and technology, for all the subjects, PYQs are very, very important. Leaving PYQs means you are leaving your UPSC preparation. Understand? Syllabus and PYQs are your best friends. Syllabus and PYQs will be your complete guiding light until you enter your interview and you crack this examination. So whenever you are having any doubt, say for example, I am not understanding this topic, or say how much depth I have to go to this, just go and open the syllabus and PYQs. You will understand, okay, the content here is being asked there in this format. This will help you understand the things. Okay, I need to read at this much depth. Not only science and tech, for other subjects also. Right. Okay. Now, further, I had shown you that science and technology can be divided into 12 chapters. Right. Now, what are these 12 chapters? First of all, what is science and technology and what type of things we will be discussing in the science and technology? We can see this now. So, first, one of the major chapter is space technology. Now, what type of things will be there here? Say, for example, we will be launching satellites into the space. You might have heard in the TV channels that Honorable Prime Minister is going and clapping for launches, Chandrayaan 3, Aditya L1 and all. Now, in this space technology, we will be learning how a satellite is being launched. How a satellite, say for example, if I am throwing this pen, it will be falling down back. Why it is falling down back? Gravity. But we were able to keep the satellite in the space. It is not falling back. What is the reason for it? how these satellites are going over there. First of all, we are using launch vehicles. So in this chapter, we will majorly see what are satellites, what are orbits, what are different launch vehicles, how a satellite is being placed in the orbit. Right, so entire knowledge about this subject will be dealt in this space technology chapter. Right, further we will be also seeing, using this technology, what are the benefits. Now say for example, if this space technology is not there, we couldn't watch this class now, because only our usage of internet, if you are using WhatsApp, if you are calling, everything is because of communication satellites which you are placing. Say, if you want to go from Hyderabad, Ashoknagar to your home place, say Nellore, Kurnool or anywhere, we will be using GPS in our mobiles. That is because of navigation satellites we are placing in the space. Now, we will be studying about all those things in this space technology chapter. So, see, one more good thing with science and technology is that all of them will be very interesting. Right? Maybe in some subjects, some of the chapters might be boring. Right, some will be, you need to remember a lot of things. Since every chapter here, you will be learning many new things. You will feel very much happier that you will be that you are learning very good things. Right. Next, second chapter is defense technology. Now, what we will be seeing in this defense technology majorly? Say, now you might have heard about this Pahalgam attack, Operation Sindoor. Now, in the Operation Sindoor, Government of India had used S-400 missile, Akash Tir system. Now, what are these weapons? How these missiles will be launched? What is ballistic missile? What is cruise missile? Why, first of all, we are launching this? Right? What is the reason why wars are going on in the world? Why can't we handle all these things with peace? We will study all those things in this defense technology chapter. Okay. Next, information and communication technology. Now, what we will be doing here in this, clearly we will be analyzing. Say, you might be using our mobiles, 5G technology, 4G and all. Now, what it is helping us? Say, for example, you want to tell that I came to class to your mother or your father. I am sleeping. You are messaging someone. You are communicating that information to someone. Now, what all the different mediums will be helping you in communicating that information to someone is dealt in this information and communication technology. How we are creating the information and how this is communicating, it is being communicated to others. We will see that in this information communication technology. Say, tell me what are the different mediums you are using for communicating an information. Say, for example, you are using mobile to inform. So, here we will be seeing from 1G to 6G. 6G is also coming. Government of India had announced Bharat 6G Alliance, Bharat 6G Vision. We will be studying about those things here. Then you might be using WhatsApp and all. For that you will be using internet. We will be studying space-based internet. We will be studying Wi-Fi, Li-Fi, WiMAX, LAN, WAN, MAN, PAN. All the mediums which will be helping in the communication of information will be discussed in this information and communication technology chapter. Right. Next. This is even more interesting chapter, emerging technologies. Now, in the information and communication technology, we were dealing mainly with technologies which have been already developed. In emerging technologies, as the name itself says, emerging, we will be dealing with the technologies which are under development. Say emerging antene under development anu kada. Say which are developed very recently or which are under development. Say for example, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, augmented reality, virtual reality, say cloud computing, 3D printing, 4D printing, Internet of Things, Metaverse. We will be seeing about all these things in this emerging technologies. This will be also very interesting chapter. Listening the names itself is interesting, right? So you will be learning lot new things. Now tell me, maybe you might be following or seeing the news since last 1 month or 2 months, newspapers. Tell me a day without an article about artificial intelligence. For sure, any day we'll be having an article about artificial intelligence or its impact. Large language models and all, ChatGPT and all. We'll be studying what are those and all in this. Say ChatGPT is called as an LLM. That means large language model. This is a type of AI. What are the different models in AI? What is multi-modal AI? What is large language model? Now, you might have heard about Rashmika Mandana's deep fake video, Chiranjeevi Garu's deep fake video. Right, Rashmika Mandana garu's deep fake video or Chiranjeevi garu's deep fake video. Now, what is this deep fake? We are using artificial intelligence to create some fake things such that the person who is watching cannot identify that that is a fake video. That is called as deep fake. We will be studying about those things in this emerging technology chapter. Next, coming to energy. This energy you will be also studying in your environment also. Majorly here what you will be doing, our main discussion is nuclear. Nuclear will be completely dealt in the science and technology only. This won't be there in any other subjects. Now nuclear, here we will be seeing what is nuclear. What is nuclear energy first of all? What could be nuclear energy? So basically, say for example, we might have seen in our childhood about, say, atom. In an atom, at the center there will be nucleus. In the nucleus we will be having protons and neutrons. Around them we will be having electrons. How these protons and neutrons are together? Inside that we might have seen some shell. Now the energy stored in that nucleus of an atom is called as nuclear energy. We will be hitting it, and when energy will be released, that energy will be using to produce electricity for all these things, ACs, fans, lights and all. Now, how we can produce energy? There are two different methods like nuclear fission, nuclear fusion. We will be seeing all those in this. Now, what are the different materials used in this nuclear? Why only some materials like uranium, plutonium, thorium are being used in this nuclear? Why not carbon, all these things? We will be seeing over this year. Say any new types of energies in use. You might have heard recently about green hydrogen energy, fuel cell energy. So if any new type of energies are in use, we will be seeing those in this energy specific chapter. Okay. Next. See, I am just giving an idea so that when you will be starting your science and technology, it will be interesting and it will be also easier for you. Just I want to make this as a trailer for your preparation of science and tech. Now, coming to nanotechnology. So, what happens in this nanotechnology majorly? Say, what we had identified. Say, you are taking any iron or steel or say carbon. What we had identified that, say, if this is the material, normally this will be having some properties. It has some strength, it has some weight and all. Now, if we are cutting this to nanoscale, cutting down to nanoscale, at that time also we will be having this material. Now, what scientists identified that when we are cutting down a material to the nanoscale, it is getting even more better properties. Weight is reducing, but strength is being increased. Boiling point is being increased. Resistance is being increased. For some materials, electrical conductivity is being increased. Understood? So, considering all these things, how nanotechnology will be useful for us? We will be studying about gold nanoparticles, how nano socks, how nanotechnology is being used in curing heart diseases. We will be seeing all those in this nanotechnology chapter. Further, intellectual property rights. You might have heard about any physical property. Physical property means land, say buildings and all. Now, intellectual property means those properties which are created by our brain. Say patents, say industrial designs, copyrights. You might have heard Ilayaraja garu filing a case on a Dude movie, Manjumal Boys movie. Why he had filed? The reason is that on his songs he is having an intellectual property right, that naake ee right undi. If anyone is using this right, they have to pay royalty for me or take permission from me. Only then they can use that. Those rights are called as intellectual property rights. We will be having 8 types of intellectual property rights. we'll be seeing about them in this chapter. GI tags, patents, semiconductor designs, right? In this format, we'll be having 8 IPRs we'll be seeing here. Biotechnology, this is one more very interesting chapter. Say, bio means life. So, we are modifying something in our life using technology to develop the things better. See, one thing you need to understand is that whatever the technologies we are developing, the reason to develop the technology is majorly for the welfare of the people, welfare of the society. So say, when I am telling about space technology, using that, we had discussed about communication, navigation, all those are very much beneficial for us, right? Say, if we are using satellite based internet, I can provide internet facilities without any mobile towers in tribal areas, in mountain areas. So even for inclusive development, this space technology is being used. Similarly, in this biotechnology also, we'll be having many benefits. Say, we know that motherhood is an emotion. అమ్మతనం అనేది చాలా మందికి కూడా ఎంతో ఎమోషన్గా తీసుకుంటారు. Now, due to changing lifestyle or diseases like PCOD, PCOS, or due to issues like falling sperm count, egg సరిగ్గా లేకపోవడం, sperm సరిగ్గా లేకపోవడం, because of all these things, many couples were unable to reproduce a child. Now, for that, we had come up with assisted reproductive technologies. We will be studying about them in this biotechnology. In vitro fertilization, surrogacy, right? Test tube baby technique, embryo transfer technique, mitochondrial replacement therapy, 3-parent baby, gene editing. All these are different techniques. Now, we know that once upon a time, if there is cancer, it is not curable. Later on, we had identified chemotherapy. But when we are using chemotherapy, there will be a lot of problems in the body. So, what we had identified using biotechnology, we had created a technology called as CAR T cell therapy. We can use biotechnology to go inside and cut the cancer cells. Right? So how this is happening? This is happening through a method called as gene editing. We'll be using different gene editing tools like CRISPR-Cas9, TALEN, zinc finger nucleases. All these will be done using this biotechnology. Further, we'll be studying about GM crops, biofuels. All these will be done using this biotechnology. Right? Next, we'll be studying about biology, physics, chemistry. This is basic biology, physics, chemistry. See, return on investment on this chapter is less. Maybe in 14 questions, sometimes they might be asking, they may not be asking. But as since we had seen some PYQs earlier, we need to follow this. Say, in the biology, we'll be studying about basics of cells. What is a cell? What is eukaryotic cell, prokaryotic cell? What is the difference between animal cell and plant cell? In the cell, what are the different organelles? Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria. All these things we'll be seeing in this biology. Similarly, in physics, we'll be seeing about things like Bernoulli's theorem. In chemistry, we'll be seeing the major chemistry things, right? So, in this chapter, we'll be learning those things. In universe and fundamental physics chapter, we'll be studying about universe. Say, for example, if you know, we know that a man, or a human, will be born, then he will go through his child age, then teenage, young age, adult age, old age, and finally death. If you know, the stars will also have birth. Stars will grow. Stars will become old, stars will die. That means our sun will also die at one point of time. When they will be dying, they will turn into neutron star, black hole. This is a life cycle of star. So how this will be done? What are the processes involved over there? All these things we'll be seeing in this universe. Many more things we'll be seeing. Those are the major things here. Next, fundamental physics. Particle physics means, say, you might have known this, that we will be say, if there is water bottle, inside the water bottle we will be having water molecules, H2O. Now these water molecules are made up of hydrogen and oxygen atoms. This atom is made up of subatomic particles like protons, neutrons, electrons. Now, this is the maximum thing many people know. But this proton is made up of even more fundamental particles. These are made of 17 fundamental particles like bosons, muons, neutrinos, Higgs boson particle. We will be studying all these things in this fundamental physics. Understood? Next, lastly, our health and diseases. If there are any diseases in news, say for example, monkeypox disease. In the childhood we might have seen vitamin A to vitamin K, right. So all these, if there are any other diseases in news, now what are the new technologies which have been developed to solve diseases? For example, I had shown you CAR T cell therapy. Now further, to solve leukemia, we had come up with the new technologies. So these are the major 12 chapters we will be discussing as part of this science and technology. If you want, you can go. Fine. So yeah, sure. Okay. Now, yeah. So what is happening? Understood. What will be the subject discussion in the science and technology? Now, this forms the base. Remember, the knowledge in this biotechnology, artificial intelligence, you can use in all the subjects. Say for example, you need to write an answer on governance. Now in the governance, in the way forward and conclusion, you can quote this technological aspect. When you are writing essay and ethics, you can quote this. In geography. So in all the subjects, you cannot write an essay, ethics answer or many answers without the knowledge on science and technology. So on the face of it, you might feel that science and technology is a small subject, less weighted subject, but it is having huge weightage. It is having huge weightage. Understood? Right. That is the thing. Now, we had seen different misnomers. Now, what are the sources you need to follow? Now, as I am mentioning, I can say strongly that there are some good books for different subjects. But I am again strongly telling that there is no good book for science and technology in the market. That is for sure. Now, one thing strongly which I can say, our materials which will be given in the institute will be more than enough. You can cross-check them with any of the materials in any of the institute in India and in Delhi specifically. Right? This will be the best notch material you will be getting across, because after putting lot amount of efforts, I had created this, now including the current affairs. Okay, so class notes and handouts will be more than sufficient. You need to have complete grip on PYQs. We need to solve each and every PYQ. Right? Because as I mentioned, PYQs will be the guiding light. And PYQs will be repeated further. Right? That is the reason why we need to solve them. And lastly, current affairs compilation. I will be giving a current affair compilation of 2 years. You need not refer anything other than that. Okay. Now, the idea line of this discussion is that don't worry about science and tech. It is our duty. That is fine. Just come to the classes, listen, take the things. Now, it will be making your life easier with current affairs also. Right? You might be seeing about artificial intelligence in news. You might be seeing about ChatGPT in the news or Anthropic, different things. Now all those things will become easier once you read the static part. Okay. Once you attend the classes, everything will be very much, it will be like a cakewalk. Okay. Now, if we want to have some discussion with respect to mains, as I had mentioned, it can have up to 3 to 4 questions and weightage of 50 marks. And now, unlike prelims, in the mains, at least to some extent, UPSC had given a detailed syllabus of science and tech. It mentions all these things in science and tech. Like it says that science and technology, developments and their applications and effects in everyday life. How science and technology is helpful in everyday life. See, every year we will be having one question on this topic. So what they will be doing? They will be telling that in everyday life, how science and technology will be useful. Now what you will be doing? We had seen 12 chapters. You will pick one chapter and write one application. Say biotechnology in the healthcare, space technology in resource management, navigation, Understood? Say otherwise, how they are asking? They are telling that in the everyday life, what is the utility of biotechnology? In those 12 chapters, they will be picking one chapter. If we had done proper notes, if we had done proper research of those things, for sure you will be able to answer those questions. See, science and technology had seen bouncer questions in across the years. If four questions are coming, for sure one will be very much difficult. But the thing is that if we had done properly all the required things, we can manage that question also. Right? 3 questions we can write excellently. The 4th question we can manage better. Okay. Next, see, these are the syllabus keywords directly mentioned in the syllabus. We need to have awareness about information technology, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, intellectual property rights. Now we had already seen in our 12 modules. So how I had crafted this thing is that after looking at all the syllabus contents and the PYQs, I had submerged all these things into 12 modules so that it will be easier. Okay, next, further, one more thing you need to understand here is that not only for science and technology, but for other subjects also, I am giving you 4-step procedure. From the day one, if you are following that, for sure you will be ahead of 99% of the audience, because many people won't be doing this. Many know that PYQs are important. You might have seen number of topper talks, number of orientation sessions, everyone will be telling that. But problem is that many will be not telling how to do that. Right? So, what is the thing here? PYQs syllabus are your guiding light. Whenever you are reading a subject, take PYQs of that subject, take syllabus of that subject and PYQs and keep it with you. So, what you need to do? 4-step procedure. First step, before, say for example, you might be knowing that you will be starting Parliament chapter, or you will be starting Space Technology chapter, or you will be starting Inflation in Economy, Parliament in Polity, Space Technology in Science and Tech, right? Or say Buddhism in Ancient History. You might be knowing that before starting. Now, before reading anything, go to PYQs, previous year questions of prelims and mains of that subject, of that specific chapter. You need not have any knowledge, just go and open the PYQs which have been asked. Don't try to solve the answers. Obviously, you may not be knowing it. Don't try to solve the answers. Just read the question and the options which have been given. This is first step. Now, second step. When you will be reading, you will be selecting one standard book or some class notes taught here. You will be having that. Now, read that topic in the class notes. And if you are following any standard book, one standard book for any subject, do that. So, class notes and standard book. Now, why I am telling this? The reason is that I had already mentioned that PYQs must be seen here. What you will be getting with this? You had seen PYQs already. You might be remembering some words which have been asked, say president election and all. Now, when you will be coming across the same words here, same topics here, you will be understanding that, okay, the content ikkada edaithe undo naaku akkada ala adigara ani cheppi, the matter which is there here that has been asked, then you will be understanding, okay, this is the way I need to understand. Next, our subconscious mind starts linking that. Next, one more benefit here is that along with that subconscious mind linking, we will be understanding akkada ippudu president election gurinni inta adigaru or space technology gurinni launch vehicles etla adigaru. We will be understanding, okay, this we need to read this topic at this much depth. Generally, when you will be looking at current affairs and all, you might be not knowing ఇది ఎంతవరకు చదవాలి ఏంటి అలాగే రీసెర్చ్ చేస్తూ వెళ్ళిపోతారు. That is futile. That is very much problematic. We need to look at the PYQs and take the decision on that. So, why we need to do the PYQs before? Don't try to solve them. Just see them. This will be, while you are reading the class notes and all, those will be very much handy for you. Now, in this step 3, go to this PYQs now. Solve the PYQs now, because already you had the subject now. solve the PYQs. When you will be solving the PYQs now, if you are already you had done the subject, if you are solving at least 50% of the questions, if you are having 14 questions, if you are solving at least 7 to 8, that means you are in the right track. You are able to understand the subject. But if you are unable to solve 50%, there are only two chances. First thing, you didn't understood the topic, or you had selected the wrong source, wrong standard book. Now we need to analyze that and we need to modify ourselves. If the source is good, but I had committed mistake, I didn't read that properly, this will be your guiding light, and now you need to read it again, master it. Now as step 4, see, you need to follow the same thing for both prelims PYQs and mains PYQs. In the step 4, what you need to do? In the step 4, you need to write mock questions. Mock questions of both prelims and mains. Say for example, take the case of fundamental rights. In last 15 years, you might be having just 17 to 18 questions in it. But that won't be sufficient. You need to remember, for every chapter in the syllabus, at least you need to solve 25 to 30 questions minimum. Every chapter, every subject. Now, these are mock questions, because in the mock questions, each and every angle of the chapter will be asked. Now remember, only if you had followed these 4 steps for every chapter, then only your preparation for that chapter is done. Otherwise, it is not done. You are seeing PYQs, you are reading, you are also solving them, you are also solving additional questions. What a man can do, or what a person can do more than this? Now we need to do this. Similarly, you need to look at the PYQs of mains, follow the notes, write those PYQs of mains, then write additional questions. See, mock test, everything after PYQs only. PYQs are very, very important. Understood? Next, further, one more thing you need to understand is that since you are starting your preparation now, what I would suggest, see, don't try to, in the initial period, don't try to be in a hurry mode. I know you need to crack the exam in 2027. That is for sure. And in fact, the good thing is that you had started the preparation early. Generally, what will be the case? Many will be coming in June or July. After completing their graduation, they will be taking 1 month rest in the rooms or in their houses, then they will be coming. Now, that time is not sufficient. The reason is that the problem is that syllabus is very much heavy. We need to do essay, optional, ethics, prelims, CSAT. All these things cannot be covered in 9 to 10 months. We need at least a time of 12 to 14 to 15 months. Now you are having time. You can do that. This is the right time to clear the exam in the first attempt. If you are putting the efforts correctly from now, for sure you can clear the exam in the first attempt. Now remember, if you are not putting the efforts correctly, or if you are going in the wrong direction, what will be the problem? Your time will be wasted, your parents' wish will be wasted, money will be wasted, right? Your age will be wasted. All these problems will be there. Now remember, for the next coming 18 months, you should be in a stoic mode. 15 months until next May, 3 months, August 24th, August 22nd to August 31st, you will be having mains in 2027. Done. From there, be in your enjoy mode. Even now also, I am not telling that you shouldn't be enjoying, but you should be putting your efforts. Remember, you shouldn't put 14 hours a day and 1 hour another day. You need to put consistently 6 to 8 hours. That is more than sufficient. 6 to 8 hours consistently. Say once in a while, say Saturday evening or Sunday evening, you are taking a break. That is not an issue. Watching movie or going to bawarchi or eating something, that is not at all an issue. But if this becomes more, that is problem. Already you might have understood. Once you miss the flow, for getting the flow back, you will face a lot of problems. So the thing here you need to understand is that break you can take, but that break shouldn't be greater than half day. That is my sincere suggestion. Now say if you are taking any 1 day or 2 day break, make sure you will be reading at least newspaper, at least 1 hour or 2 hours. This maintains this continuous flow. Understood what I am telling? That is the case. So the only golden rule here is that you need to put 8 hours of effort, sincere effort. that will be more than sufficient. Don't neglect any part of the thing, and from now you need to look at the things not from prelims point of view, from combined PCM, prelims cum mains point of view only. You need to do the things integratedly. That's why when I am discussing also, I am telling you to follow the things integratedly. Post January, from January 1st, you can do the things integratedly. That is fine. Now, even your batch will be starting in April 20. Now, that has been scheduled such that everything will be completed by December 31st. Maybe 99% of the things or 100% of the things will be done by December 31st. You will be completely ready. Attend the classes regularly. If you are having any problems, talk to the mentors. If your problem is not solved, come to us, come to me, or go to Vishnu sir. Whatever the problem is there, reach us. See, మీరు ఫూలిష్గా అనిపించినా సరే, చిన్న డౌట్ అనిపించినా అడగండి. ఆ చిన్న డౌట్ వల్ల మీరు 2-3 రోజులు వేస్ట్ చేసుకొని ఉండొచ్చు. అది మీ మైండ్లో తీసేస్తే పోయింది కదా. అది ఈ బుక్ చదవాలా వద్దా అనే దానికే చాలామంది వారాలు వేస్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఇది చదివితే కరెక్టా కాదా, ఇది చదవచ్చా లేదా అని చెప్పి. అది ఒకరిని ఆల్రెడీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళని అడిగితే సరిపోద్ది కదా, రైట్? అండ్ వన్ మోర్ థింగ్, వీఆర్ నాట్ టెలింగ్ దాట్ దేర్ మే నాట్ బి ఎనీ మిస్టేక్స్ హియర్. కొన్ని మిస్టేక్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఆర్ ఆల్సో సే సమ్ టైమ్స్ ఏదైనా ప్రాబ్లం ఉండొచ్చు. కమ్ అండ్ రీచెస్, వీ విల్ సాల్వ్ దట్, right? So for sure we will be trying to help you out if you are sincerely reading. If because you will be having study all access, we will be seeing you every time. If you have any doubt, you can come to us, and if we feel that you are doing properly everything, then we will be very much interested to help you every time. Okay, so read the things properly. If you are having any doubts, you can reach to us. Okay, fine. Any doubts you are having?
How will be the class structure, sir?
Science and technology class structure specifically will be that we will be having around 50 hours of classes. Now what will be happening here, say we had started space technology ankundam. First 2 classes will be static part. You will be having complete knowledge of it, then we will be doing the current affairs of it. Say we had started defense, 1 class will be static part, then we will be doing the current affairs, nuclear, static, current affairs. In this format we will be integratedly doing the things. Now you will be getting the handout. If anything additional, we'll be doing we'll be giving the handouts. Further we'll be doing the live answer writing in the class itself. Okay, so same will be along with science and technology. The other faculties will be taking the subjects like internal security or anything also. They will be making you write answers. You will be writing the regular tests. Okay, that will be sufficient. Now you need to put your efforts. Now as I am telling, don't go to the things without any direction. Be mindful of the things. ఎప్పటికప్పుడు చెక్ చేస్తూనే ఉండండి. నౌ సే కీప్ సాటర్డే ఈవినింగ్ ఆర్ సండే ఈవినింగ్ యాజ్ ఎ డయాగ్నోసిస్ డే. ఈ లాస్ట్ 1 వీక్ నేను చేసింది కరెక్టా కాదా, ఎక్కడైనా నేను తప్పు చేశానా, నెక్స్ట్ 1 వీక్లో ఏం మార్చుకోవాలి నేను. కీప్ అకౌంటబిలిటీ ట్రాకర్ ఫర్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. మీరు ఏం చేస్తున్నారు అనేది మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోండి. అదర్వైజ్ మీరు చేసే చిన్న తప్పు వల్ల ఇయర్స్ వేస్ట్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి, రైట్? ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకేమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? Fine. See, first thing, science and technology specific ga annara. Science and technology 100% equal if it is for APPSC, 100% equal. If it is for TGPSC, it is 70% equal. 30% akkada additional ga botany ki sambandhinchina plant biology this dani gurinchi additional ga teliyali. But major weightage would be this, and you need not do anything other than that. Be it group 1, APPSC group 1 or TGPSC group 1. If it is APPSC group 1, as I am mentioning, it is 100% equal. Right? ఇంకా మనం చాలా ఎక్కువ చదువుతాం, more than sufficient, and the syllabus over there is completely detailed. And benefit is that in APPSC, at least here the weightage in the mains is just for 50 marks out of 1750. In 750 marks in APPSC, 150 marks is only science and tech. Right, 150 is science and tech, and you will be having another science and tech essay separately, 50 marks. Okay, so there also you will be getting lot of benefit. Just try to attend the classes, do the things as said in the class, put your effort. That will be more than sufficient.